Welcome to episode 21 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast, where we are talking the junk removal industry. And when we talk junk removal, we're talking everything from demolition, curbside pickup, donation delivery. I don't care. It is in the junk removal space, the $10 billion subsegment of the waste industry. That's right. We are in a huge industry, and that's why it's so important. We're here talking about how to scale, grow, get into this industry to make money and build the life you want to live. Here at the Trash Talk Business Talk Podcast, we talk trash, and we also talk a little trash. Not sure what we're going to get into today, but as always, I'm Andy Weins, joined by my partner in crime, Casey Bubba Lawrence from the great state of Texas. I think Texas should start paying me a royalty every time I talk about Texas, because y'all just like being from Texas. That's what Texans like to do. Anyhow, Casey, what are we talking about today?
Well, we have a guest, as you can see, Pat, and he found us on a junk removal group, which is awesome because I solely feel that everybody in these groups should at least give us a listen, if not just to learn, but also to teach us. I mean, hey, we're open for it as well. If you have something that maybe we don't cover, maybe we're curious of, holler at us and let's get you on and teach us a thing or two, you know. We don't claim to know everything, but we claim to know a good amount of good shit, and that's why Pat's here. So, Pat, why don't you tell us what is the biggest thing that brought you to this podcast?
I mean, you guys' wealth of knowledge, and after watching all these episodes, it's just helped to expand what I really want my business to be and understanding how I need to get there, and also thinking about things that maybe I wasn't thinking about. Staying out of the dump, trying to stay out of the dump, having facilities where I can recycle and separate items, and in turn that helps my community by keeping stuff out of the dump. And then it's just the ideas that you guys have are great. Anytime I get a chance to tell somebody, I'm like, you got to go listen to this podcast. Every episode I'm getting something, and I'm having to watch some of them over again.
No, I love that. You know, Casey and I started this realistically 6+ years ago. We actually, Casey and I got to know each other on a Facebook group. We started arguing for or against how we saw things in junk removal in this group. And it wasn't until we took conversations offline just between him and I. It's like, oh, okay. It's not that he was right or I was right, or he was wrong, I was wrong. Things are inherently different in business and in life. We could be in the same industry and see things completely different and both be right. Right, geographics have a lot to do with it. Urban population, weather, background, perspective. Right, so this thing all started years and years ago. Conversations between Casey and I. We were both part of a franchise organization, which I had the pleasure of traveling and touring and seeing how other people did things and challenging them, and vice versa. So now it's our opportunity to continue to have conversations about this industry. Our goal is to make this industry better. I do it as an owner of a junk removal business. Casey is more in the coaching and consulting world. And we come together with people like you because we want to learn more about what motivates you in this industry, what you want to know, because ultimately it's about building that life you want and what information or knowledge do you need today so that you get it. So a little bit of background, junk haulers, you call, we haul. I love the slogan. What's your service area? How long have you been doing this? How many jobs are you doing on average, and what are your greatest needs? Let's go down the line.
Okay, so service area is Aiken County, South Carolina, and I do North Augusta, South Carolina as well. Aiken County is 168,000 people, which I just found out from my local chamber, and Aiken, the city, is 38,000 people. I'm getting onesie twosies right now, but I currently work full-time at a tire plant, working swing shift, just like another gentleman that was on a previous podcast. I actually linked up with him, and me and him are going to be linking up and meeting up and trying to help each other since we're in the same state, a lot of the same demographics.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah, man. I got in touch with him immediately. So I'm linking up with him. So when I started a Facebook boost, I've been in business since June. For the first 3 weeks, crickets. But I was trial by fire. I made sure I had logos. I had things, but I just didn't understand how to use them. So I just started trying to get some knowledge, try to do this, do that. I'm trying to figure it out because I want to work for myself. I don't want to I want to be self-employed, and then I want to be a business owner because my business needs to run when I'm not there. Yep. So I put a Facebook boost on, and I didn't look at the edit button, so it went all over the United States of America. So my phone started blowing up, and I'm like, all right, this is great. I said, no, I can't come to Colorado. I'm sorry. So I figured that part out. It went everywhere. It was crazy. So then I honed it in and put it on my area, and I'm getting calls. I'm getting messages. I don't get a lot of phone calls. It's all message.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get a lot of no's, a lot of I'll call you backs. I've had some wins. I like meeting people that I have never met before. The people aspect of it, for me, being able to network and things like that, I love it. So I know that if I do the right things, like Casey has said before, your customers can do the work for you as long as I treat them well and do the right things. But I've had to date, I've only done about $2,000 worth of income. So I've brought in $2,000. I actually stopped doing a boost for about a week or two, dead, nothing. And I mentioned that to you, started the boost back up again. Then I started getting calls. And then, of course, you learn real quick about in business, people want you to do it for cheap, and I ain't cheap. If I wanted to do it for cheap, I'd do it for free. So I learned a lot of those things. I had a lady today. Go ahead.
What type of customers are you normally getting off your Facebook boosts? High end, low end?
It's a range. Okay. It's just a wide variety. It could be age groups. It's not really a set thing. It's just I've had people that ask me to move furniture, and I politely say I don't move furniture. That's not something that I get into. I've had people ask me for come pick up metal for free, and I'm like I can't do for free.
Couple things right off the bat that I'm gonna jump on you about. So you just said, "Hey, I've only done $2,000." You got to change that mindset, brother. You got to say, "I've already done $2,000," right? Because there's someone right now listening to this podcast that has done no dollars, right? And they want to be encouraged, right? It's your obligation now to pick those up around you and yourself, right? You got to be encouraged because June wasn't that long ago. That was not less than 90 days ago. So less than 90 days ago, you did no dollars, right? So you got to celebrate when you can, right? I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. Second thing, this is a lesson from Gary V, right? I like what you said, right? You can be good, fast, or cheap, right? But most of us want to be good and fast, but not cheap. Here's why I'm going to argue with you a little bit on that, picking up metal for free. When you're first started in business, free is not bad. Okay. Free is good. This is what I'm going to tell you. Saying no to that customer for moving, that's a good move. You don't move. No amount of dollars. You don't want to do that. Also, you don't want to do things at a discount. Hey, no, I'm not going to do your job at a discount because you might call me again. However, free is good. The logic here is you got no commitment to them. And you build and make a connection, and you can't disappoint someone that you're working for free. And scrap metal, you're going to learn something. So you're not doing the job for free. You're getting paid for the scrap metal, right? So now all of a sudden, you're not now you don't want to do that free job in lieu of a paying job, right? Because now you're losing the opportunity loss. But I would take that free scrap metal all day because where there's a little bit of metal, there's a little bit metal more. And what I mean by that is you're getting paid for the metal. You're doing a job, not just a favor. You're doing a job for someone that you didn't know before. And you're building a connection at the scrapyard, showing them, hey, I'm in this hustle. Look at what I brought you. I don't care if it's 10 fucking pounds, right? So I will say, right, I'm going to change that right off that. I built my business doing free scrap. That's how I built my business because I wasn't losing money. I was investing my time because Casey will talk about how much I know about the scrap industry. I done picked up scrap in alleys and back of buildings and back of people's yards for years for free, and I learned a lot. So that once I did build a junk removal business with employees and overhead, I don't pick it up for free anymore, but I learned a lot along the way. Other thing, I have to put this up on the share screen. Casey will appreciate this. When I first started my junk removal business, the Clutter Busters, I shit you not, my flyer, other than being green, was pretty much this. Like starburst and everything. Single color, green. I got about 500 copies of green and 500 calories of orange. I went around. I put just like this. I remember I was at Office Max and they charged $1 a minute for graphic design. I go, all right, how long can I talk to you before you start designing? And I was about 22 minutes into it. I'm like, move this. We're good. Whatever, it was like $22. I
bought that card stock and we got a corner hole punch. I got rounded edges on that bad boy.
There you go.
I love it. And you know what? Here's the deal. This is phenomenal marketing, right? We got cleanout services. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're licensed and insured. I love license and junk removal because that is an open interpretation. Like, I got a driver's license, right? That's all that means, right? Yeah. It could mean more. Oh, what's up? How you doing, honey? Right? But insured, you can have piss poor insurance. You're still insured. Love it, right? Free estimates, and I love your tagline. We get dirty so you don't have to. That's your tagline, right? Like on your truck, I know.
With it all day.
Done. Here's the thing. We just talked about this. One of the last things we talked about with our last guest. He's like, I don't know about my name. I don't know about a logo. I said, I don't care. Just get out and start banging jobs. Yeah. Tell people what they need to know so they can call you and hire you. That's it, right? The only thing I would add on here maybe is call or text the number because you've already indicated that a lot of your customers are texting you or messaging you on Facebook. And that's just so that's just a trend. I also know I met with a company the other day. I used to have a big phone system. I used to run logistics for like eight sites, 8 junk removal sites across the country. So I had this big elaborate phone system where we could transfer calls and F all that. When we rebranded and then I repurchased the company, I'm like, we're running on cell phones. People want to text, they want to shoot a picture, they want to have a conversation. Make it simple. So that also, real quick, is that phone number that I'm looking at, is that your personal cell phone or is it a business phone number?
My personal phone number.
Go get a business phone number. Pay the $50 a month because what you said a few minutes ago was important. Right now, you want to be your own boss, right? Sole proprietor. Then you want to get into an LLC situation where you have a job and you're owner operator, but you want to get into this, maybe S Corp or corporation or whatever model someday where you're an owner and you have employees. So you got to start with that mindset today that, you know what? I'm not my business. I'm a big piece of my business. And I have to be able to take my phone, right? My work phone and set it down sometimes. I didn't do that for the first 3 years.
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
now I can't put it down.
Don't put it down, but have 2 phones.
Yeah.
Have 2 phones so that someday you can hand that phone to somebody else.
Also, you don't want to mix your personal contacts with your business. Like the biggest thing I had with my work phone, it was a blessing and a curse. Don't get me wrong, but that I knew that anything pertaining to my business was in this phone. Right. My personal phone was I kept. So like, for instance, if I were to meet someone like Andy, he would go in my personal phone. He is not a customer as much as he is a mentor or a connector that I'm going to use him for. Right.
Yep.
He would go in my personal phone. Now, Mary J down the street or Thomas down the street, who I'm doing jobs for, business phone all day long. Here's why also. You will notice this. People get fresh ideas the most inconvenient times to other people. And you will get a text message at 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night, where maybe you're on a date with your wife or something. I don't know. You're going to get a text message. Hey, so I was thinking, I wonder if we could do this, this, and this. Now, being a business owner that you are, now you're going to answer that text. And you just opened up
100%.
Pandora's box. And now you're going to have a conversation that leads into the night more. And you're like, holy shit, this sucks. Like, we need some boundaries here, but I also don't want to piss this customer off. That's why you have a business phone.
You can always put automatic. Also, on just the way technology are with cell phones, you can put an automatic message on your business phone, text message. Hey, we're closed right now. I'm gonna call you back later. Because here's the deal.
A text, whatever.
I love that. Easy. I don't have to do it. It's
that's it.
Done.
And then you also tell them. Here's the other thing. This is what you can do. Right, and I have done this. I'll put it right on there in a text message. Hey, if this is an emergency, here's my personal cell phone number. 9 out of 10 people will be like, yeah, no, we're good. This is not an emergency. I appreciate being heard. And here's the deal. In that automated text message, just reset the expectation. Like, hey, can't get to the phone right now. I work swing shift. You can be as transparent with people as possible.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to get back to you tomorrow after 10 a.m. because I sleep, whatever. Right? You don't have to tell your life story.
I've already lost a job just because I was sleeping.
Correct. But now if you want to set the expectation, hey, we're closed right now. I'll get back to you at this time and date. Maybe they stick around. Maybe they don't, but at least you've communicated. What they don't want to do is send a text message and hear nothing, or you break up your sleep cycle and now you're reacting to a text message versus responding to a customer inquiry. And those are two very different schools of thought. So let technology do the work for you. Get a cell phone, get an automated message. The other thing is if you have your automated message, let's say 6 o'clock at night, automated message turns on because you have it automatic, right? And then you follow up with that customer afterwards. They're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't really inconvenience you. Like, I just want to get the ball rolling. You're like, no, we're good. They'll fucking love on you because you're operating outside of hours. I had a customer, this is about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. I was running ops. Our ops person was out. I was at the house. I left the work phone at work, but I get some notifications on my personal phone for our operation software jobber. And it said, what was your job? Preferred contact method. And it said text. So I text this woman like 9:30, 9:45. I'm sitting there watching Shark Tank. And I just text her, hey, this is Andy with Camel Crew Junk Removal. I saw you had this. I literally copy and pasted it. This looks like a quarter trailer. That was it, right? And she goes, yeah, how soon can you be there? I pull up my phone. I look at the calendar. I was like, yeah, guys can be there at this date time, right? And then she's like, oh, my God, that's awesome. Like, I didn't expect anyone to respond. She's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, blah, blah, right? I don't have to now explain to this woman, hey, I'm a local business owner. By me responding, I said all those things. Come to find out she's a nurse. She works till like 9 o'clock, right? So that's when it was convenient for her.
Yeah.
And then we scheduled the job on her day off the next day. It was already scheduled. So instead of her thinking about it the next morning and, what's going to happen, now she could plan her whole day around us being there that afternoon. But it started that we set the expectation after 5 p.m., we'll get you there next day.
Well, think of it this way.
As I'm saying this, and real quick, just wrap this point up to the point, Casey. I don't actually do this. So this is why we do this podcast. I'm going to go downstairs later, and I'm going to tell Megan, our operations person, hey, we should implement this process because it's right. Because shit, this is a good fucking idea. It's something we used to do. We used to do this. I wasn't the owner for a little bit. We stopped doing it. Now I'm going to get back to it. That's why we do this podcast.
Well, also, the main important thing about the business phone is you're going to need time for yourself. You're going to need time for your family. You're going to need time for your wife. And I'm going to tell you this, the coolest thing Andy and I can both attest to, we did this business with our family. Okay. So it was impossible to keep work at work. You brought it home no matter how hard you tried not to, whether it's your brother, your mother, or your wife, or whoever, your mom. I worked with my mom, my stepdad, my stepbrother, and my wife at one point. And just having that, like, we would ask each other at the end of the day, hey, can you take the phone tonight? Right. And guess what? Now it's covered down by my mom. Or she'd ask me, hey, look, we're going to go on a date night or whatever. Can you handle the phone? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Now, the cool thing about that is she's getting the boundaries that she needs, right? Just like we are when we need it. But also, when that text comes in at night, a lot of people text because that's their first line of defense. Like for me, if I call Andy, he doesn't answer, I'm going to text him to let him know it's not an emergency. Like, I don't need you to stop what you're doing and call me right back. Like, we're good. I'm just giving you a little heads up. Call me whenever you can. Right. So a lot of people, they'll think of something and they're like, shit, I'm going to text this. That way I know it's out there in the ether and they'll call me back whenever they can. Right.
That's what I do. If somebody calls me, I'm like, are you good? If you're good, I'll get back with you.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been in business 90 days-ish. I scrubbed your Facebook page because I wanted to get a better idea of who you were and how you operate.
Right here. Same here.
But what questions do you have for us? So I challenged you when you and I talked last week. I said, hey, come with 2 or 3 things that we can solve, not just questions, but what can we solve with this time we have available together?
Just some of the practices, things I need to be doing every day with my Facebook, with my website, those things that have nothing to do with me answering the phone and getting a job, just doing those little things that build that foundation.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump right into your Facebook. Casey,
Yeah.
I know the screen is small, but that's all right. He'll jump in. All right. So we built a lot of our business on Facebook, and we know that Facebook trends older. Every year, Facebook gets older because less new people are coming on, and people that have been on stayed on. And there was a period about 10 years ago where a bunch of old people got on, and now we're stuck with them. God bless. Right. So Facebook is a great place to market your business. All right. So I scrubbed your Facebook page. Here's my issue with it. Your Facebook page looks like every other start junk removal company business page out there, right? You got the standard, hey, we're in business. You got the, hey, meet the owner, right? And then you got the before and after pictures. And if I scroll all the way back, right, you got the generic holiday post, right? Nothing you've done here is wrong or bad. But there's nothing that tells me who you are. Nothing. I see you it looks like you got a couple boys right now. If you don't want to show their faces for privacy reasons, God bless, right? I'm okay with that, right? I'm not going to get into that.
Oh, yeah. One way or the other. We just kind of did it that way just to get them to sit still.
Got it. Oh, that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I seen go on Casey. He's got two boys. His one running through sprinklers and shit, even though it's raining outside. God bless. Maybe them sprinklers Casey had in his yard is the reason why y'all got floods down in Texas. Anyhow, my point is, if I'm looking at this page, I don't know you from junk haulers without a Z.
Yeah.
Right? So first and foremost, you got to develop content that's different. What I want to see here, I can imagine what a garage is with and without stuff in front of it. I've seen it before. Right? But what I want to see is a happy customer. What I want to see is a story that resonates. Like
video.
I don't know if this is an eviction or a little old lady who was cleaning stuff out. I don't know if it's a family that their kids moving back from college.
That lady, she was awesome. I should have.
Where's the video? Where's the video?
I should have videoed with that lady. She was amazing.
Okay, do that. Also, this is the other thing I see. Right, you had a post on July 31st, July 26th, July 25th. Right? Okay, you're right. You got 3 happy customers in a matter of a week. What about since then?
Yeah.
Space these out.
Yeah, space them out.
I don't care if every week, right? So that way it's like, oh, he's still doing stuff because here's now the problem. And this is why your phone is a little cyclical, right? Now, you haven't done anything other than update your business hours in 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So space out those posts. I don't need to know yesterday and today that you had a good job. This isn't time relevant or time bound, right? Yeah. But the fact you do all these things is important. So space them out. If you only got 3 posts, do one once a week and hustle your ass off to get into the post.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Also remember the time we live in. We are in a time of technology. So YouTube University is one of the best schools to go to. And you could literally say, YouTube, for a local business, what is the best way to market in social media? They'll give you steps and hints. Like, for instance, Reels. Reels are huge now, right? And if you do them right, a lot of people are going to see your reel. It's like, hey, it's not too long of a video. At the same time, you can add some flair here and there. People are going to look at it because they're thumbing through the reels, right? Now, video, the reason why video is so important is because it tells a story within the story. So I would suggest probably today or tomorrow, do a video on you. The first thing, why are you doing? Hey, this is why I'm doing it. To all my customers out there, to all the people around here, my name is this. This is what I do. This is my job. I'm doing this because why? Keep it short and simple, minute and a half max. But I mean, be transparent. People want to understand why you're doing it. Are you doing it just for the money? Or are you doing it because you truly want to be in business for yourself? At the same time, that lady you said was great. I would have a conversation with customers weekly. Hey, I noticed we've used you a couple times, or you've used us a couple times. Would you mind doing a testimonial for me? Just a quick little 20-second why you've called us, why you continue to use us, that kind of thing. Because now a one-time, great, I'm not saying don't do it, but a repeat customer, the cool thing about those, it gives people an idea of why they keep calling you and not just why they called you in the first place, right? And as you get bigger and as you keep doing this, you're going to see people hire people.
That's what I wanted to be about.
Well, great. People hire people. Dale Carnegie talks about this. People hire people they know, like, and trust.
Yes.
It's your job to get people to know you, to like you, and to trust you.
Yes.
And the best way you can do that is what Casey said. You gave the answer to the test. You got to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and transparent. I would go to the extent of, hey, I'm doing this so my boys have a future. I'm doing this so my wife can see me more and we can build a family business, right? These are all truth, right?
Yeah.
We're not manufacturing a story.
No, it's facts.
Right? The fact that your wife stuck her head in there and you're so proud of her, right? Don't show me the damn flyer. Tell me, or have your wife tell me how proud she is that you're stepping up and you're providing for your family. And also, you know what? We live in a world where, right, everyone's working for these big corporations, and you're saying, no, what is possible? I'm not looking at this as my obligation of going to work. I look at this as an opportunity to work more and serve my community. And when you start talking about that, people will listen. And again, they will remember how they felt, not what you did or what you said.
Yeah, and I've had two instances. One customer, he gave me a bit of a review, you could say. I just spent 15 minutes with his wife. I haven't heard back from him and got the job, but he still put it out there. Great guy, give him a call. The last job I just did, the lady, obviously Southern hospitality. I walk right in her house. We go to talking about the job. She says, I want to do it. Here's the key to the gate. She gave me the key to her gate to get into her home while she wasn't there.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was amazing. I thought that was just amazing.
So people ask me all the time, how I did things. It was a little different. Andy could tell you, we did things a little different. We were never the cheapest, and I never ever wanted to be or claimed to be. I also never claimed to be the fastest. I claimed to be the best. Okay, when people asked me, I would tell them we're the best. I'm not the cheapest. I'm not going to be the fastest, but I am the best. Now, why are you the best? Here's why I'm the best. Because it's my duty to make sure you have the best experience you can during this job. All right? Yeah, the joke is you can sit back and drink a margarita and watch us work. But I don't want you to just drink a margarita and watch us work. I want you to understand that you can call us anytime for whatever you need. I want you to feel that way. And the cool thing is you'll see immediately, the more upfront you are with people, the more upfront they're going to be with you. And you'll start getting calls. They won't ask you how much it costs. They're going to be like, when can you do it? And then when you come down to, all right, we're done, and they're going to be, okay, cool. What's the price so I can write a check? That's when you're going to finally discuss price. It happens so long. You want to talk about getting the key to someone's gate. Yeah, it's a great feeling. You know why? Because she trusts you. You know how many times we get customers, they're not home, they're at work. Hey, here's the code to my house. Andy has seen some of the houses we've been in. He's seen them.
They don't suck. They don't suck.
And they are like, these people are like, yeah, go into my house. This is where it's at. Not that closet, this closet. So I'm like, there's no one home in this 10,000 square foot house. So they trust we're not going to steal. We're not going to do anything bad. Our ethics are always being tested. At the same time, when you talk with these people and when you are upfront with them, they're never going to question them.
That's what I want. That's my main purpose is I know I'm going to make money. Yes, I want to make money, but how can I serve my community and let my community know that I'm a trusted person and I can take care of you and I will take care of you. And I understand that the money will come as far as me setting that kind of a foundation. That's what I truly want to do.
So
and
Pat,
go ahead.
Pat, I just sold my house, okay? And I know 1,000 realtors. I can just go realtor in my search. Vroom. Here's why I picked the realtor I picked. He's also the realtor I bought my house through. I see him every other week at my veterans meetup. I talk to him almost every day. I know him. I trust him. I see what he does on the daily basis. My brother is a realtor, but I hired Jake because I trust him 100%. He was going to give me all in when he sold this house. I was like, hey, here are my standards, Jake. And he's like, cool, I'm going to meet him. Bam, 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 bam. 3 days, my house was on the market, sold for asking, because I knew I hired him to do the job I trusted him to do. People are going to hire you because they trust you. I can call Andy anytime I want, and I trust him to give me his honest opinion on something. The other day, I called him. I was like, Andy, I have this predicament I'm in. And he's never been in this predicament. And I was like, well, fuck. Well, what do you think?
Yeah.
And he gave me his 2 cents anyways, but still.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know, there's a difference between a suggestion and a recommendation, right?
Yeah.
Recommendation is, if I was you, I would, right? Because now you own it to a certain extent. You don't do that with people you don't trust, and people that right. The trust goes both ways, right? If I don't trust someone that's going to listen and heed my warning, I'm not going to waste my time giving people suggestions, right? And that's where you got to come in. You have a lot of opportunity with your business to be the person that people trust.
Yeah.
And you've already seen it. So now you got to lean into that to multiply that trust so you can show other people how trustworthy you are. And then the money and the scale and all the other shit happens. But you got to trust, right? You got to give people a reason to trust you. And that's what marketing is. It's making them aware of, you know, who you are, what you do, and how you're going to, you know, how people are going to feel when they're done interacting with you.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to trust that you are a steward of your craft.
Yeah,
so
competition's always going to be there, by the way. So don't get caught up in how many junk people are around you or any of that shit.
Nope.
Yeah, I ain't worried because I just look at it like they're not going to do it like me.
Exactly. But then you got to highlight what that means. Do it like me. You got to make it simple and repeatable. So when your customers hear about you or see you on Facebook or see your reel, they're like, okay, hold on. He's simple and repeatable. There's actually a guy I love following. I should find him real quick. He's a septic system guy down south. He talks I watch his shit every day on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
He's a Navy vet. Are you looking it up, Case?
Yeah.
Navy vet, septic system company. And he does I'm going to stand here and talk to the camera, right? Not my jam, but that's his jam. And I watch his stuff every day because it's predictable. You know he gives a shit about his business. You know he gives a shit about his guys. You know that he's a subject matter expert in his field because he talks about it. But he also tells you when he has a shit interaction. He also talks to you about jobs that went awry. He talks about his ex-wife and how difficult it is. He talks about what it's like transitioning from the military to the civilian world, right? Because he's transparent and vulnerable and honest, you're like, I trust this guy. When he says that he gives a shit about customers, he does. When he says that he's having a rough day, he means it. Can't find him, Casey?
No. But is it Jack? No.
That doesn't sound right. If I
being that transparent, he's telling you everything about his life. I mean, why would you not give him a shot, you know?
Oh yeah.
Well, there's another video called Farm Rose I follow. It's a farmer in Florida, and he is freaking hilarious to me. But at the same time, he's teaching you. He does a peanut farm. He has a huge farm, and he makes it funny. But then he'll also do videos of him like regular, not with a thick accent and a long mullet. But he shows you everything. Hey, we haven't had rain in a long time. This is expensive as hell. Blah blah blah.
Okay, so here, hold on. Hold on. So this is exactly why this works, right? I always tell people, be the guy, be the junk removal guy, right? I just typed in. Obviously YouTube knows my algorithms. I typed in septic system guy in YouTube.
Yeah,
billions of videos and piece of content. First thing, 898,000 views, so almost 1 million views of this is the guy, right? Here he is. Oh, I turned down the volume because I want to play it too soon.
Right now, $225 to $350, and that price keeps moving closer to $350.
Okay, so here he is. He's talking.
I just found him.
He is talking. I've never seen this video. There he is. Yeah, there he is. This is the guy. All right, Taylor, tag this guy. Taylor's our producer. Taylor, tag this guy in the podcast. I want to interview him. Septic system. I don't give a shit. Actually, I'm going to message him. There's James Butler. I should know. I watch his shit all the time. Right? Oh my God, I'm going to hit him up because he puts on tons of good content. He's a vet. See, this is why we do this show. That's 2 good ideas that we've had that I'm stealing and I'm going to fucking implement today.
Oh, I'm going to watch this video like I'll do all the other ones, and I'm going to all kinds of shit down. Like I got to try.
James. You know, my goal someday. Right, like pie in the sky is get on Joe Rogan's podcast, right? Have something relevant, have something relevant enough to say that I earned the opportunity to be on Joe Rogan's podcast, right? That's like my right, Ted. You're right. I could just email him. There's nothing, no hooks in my ass or trees in my way. I could email him right now.
I emailed him last year.
Anyways, all right. Yeah, Taylor already came in here. Show me his. Yeah, hit him up, Taylor. Sound very fancy. Be like a client of mine would like to procure your talents for an hour on the podcast. Should be like, be like, hey, there's a couple of veterans that want to talk about shit on their Junk World podcast. You down? That's what I'm gonna text them. Yeah, if you want to talk trash and talk shit, oh my god, we could have a co-branded podcast.
There we go.
The shitty trash podcast.
I had a buddy, he made a TikTok video, and his business went bonkers off of one TikTok. He makes custom American flags. He's a vet. He put the TikTok out. It went nuts. I mean,
there you go. I haven't learned I haven't learned yet. I'm learning the YouTube TikTok game. But right now the focus is the podcast, right? You can't be a jack of all trade, right? I'd rather dedicate. So right now we're learning the podcast game, which we love doing it. And I like taking my time, right? I want to caress the conversation, if you will.
Yeah.
Are you taking a picture of us?
Yeah.
Taking a picture of us doing the video? All right. See, Casey's the marketing guy in our, right? So we'll talk real quick about business. This is just a total sidebar business thing. Okay. So in business, I actually have to teach about an hour from now. I'm teaching a class. And I teach classes on the 6 buckets of business, right? So you go marketing, sales, operations, the field. So that's the thing you do. HR, and then finance or scorecard.
Oh, okay.
Those are your 6 buckets, okay? So point is, right, we've transferred a lot of this today, and we'll keep digging. But Casey is on one end, right? Because in the business and in the military, you die in your flanks, right? You're only as strong as your weakest link. And in the military, when you talk about a firing line, your weakest, most vulnerable place is going to be your flanks, your far left and your far right positions within the firing line, right? Same with business. A lot of people can do the operations and the thing, right? You even talk about, hey, when my phone rings, I pick up, I set the job up, I get the keys, or they let me in, I bang the job, little old lady's happy. Got it, right? And you can sell the jobs, right? Because you sold it, right? HR, are you flying solo, or you got a helper? What do you got?
Oh yeah, I'm solo.
Got it. Your HR's covered, right? That's it. That's your HR as of right now. But also within HR, not just internal, but external human resources. You got insurance, right? You already talked about it. You got a marketing team that's building out, and working with you to build out your website.
26,
right? You got landfills, right? You got vendors, right? So that's all part of HR. Those are the humans that are the resources of your business, right? But this is where people really struggle. The financing on the far end or the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So even like within this podcast, I'll pull up and look at the data monthly and even weekly now. How many downloads we got? What episodes are resonating with people? What people are responding to. When I ask people, hey, what is it you listened or heard? What do you remember about the podcast, right? So that's the scorecard. That's the finance piece. I got that flank covered. And I know as a good business partner, Casey is, he's got the marketing flank covered. And he'd rather do the marketing. That's not a strength of mine. So I can do the marketing, but he'd rather do it, and he's better at it. Just like he can do the numbers. It's not his thing as much as
the numbers guy.
Oh my God, I fucking love the numbers guy, right? And he cares about the numbers, just like I care about the marketing. But when I can look to my left, and Casey's got the left flank, and I got the right flank, we're good to hook, right?
And that's also the biggest obstacle in business ownership is you have to realize your strengths, and you can't fight your weaknesses. I'm telling you, because I worked with my mom and my stepdad. And even though I had some good ideas on certain things that my mom was covering, her strengths were what she was doing. My strength was, you're out in the field, you're going to figure this junk removal business out with us, but you're going to be out in the front lines, talking to the people, doing the thing. Hey, you know what? How do you change a starter on an F-250 in the middle of nowhere in a parking lot? I don't know, but I'm going to figure that shit out. My mom probably couldn't do it, but I had to do it. My strengths were
calling a guy,
and that's the thing. Absolutely now. But
I know how to call AAA. That's
I get told by everybody I can talk to anybody. That's what people tell me all the time. You can talk to anybody.
You just have to double down on your strengths. That's what I'm saying.
Correct. So marketing is multiplying your ability to talk to anybody. So talk to them, hit record, launch it to the world. Right. Mm-hmm. So I got a 3-step progress or 3-step approach to life that served me well I only recently realized it, but here's the 3-step approach to life. Do the fucking thing. Tell the fucking world. Shut the fuck up. 3-step approach to life that will get you from where you're at to where you want to be, and we can apply it here, right? You're doing the thing. Yeah. You got the business. You got the LLC. You're licensed and insured. Your wife is on board. Let's go, right? But now you got to tell the world. Mm-hmm. And like anything else, once you start telling the world's going to start responding to you. And you know what you do? Go back to step number 1. Go back to doing the thing. If they're telling you, hey, your prices suck, hey, go find someone that don't think your prices suck, right? Yeah, if you can't find someone, maybe you have to adjust your prices. But don't go argue with people, right? Just listen to the impact, right? At no point did I say, hey, don't listen, right? But don't justify what you're doing. And someday, soon, we plan on it someday soon, you're going to tell your employer, hey, you know what? This ain't for me no more. I got this thing. And the first thing you're going to hear from the people in the chief seats is, oh, you're leaving your stability. You're not going to make it. You're not good enough. You know what you got to say to them? Hey, appreciate the feedback. And then pound your fucking feet the opposite direction. Yeah. Right? Because you don't have to explain to them shit.
Nothing.
There are people's opinions and perspectives that matter, and there's perspectives that don't matter. And I'm on my soapbox, so I'm going to keep going. The other 4 people that matter, their perspectives. Only 4 people's perspectives matter in your business. Not your life, your business. Customers, vendors, employees, and investors. Mm-hmm. That's it. If the person does not fall in those 4 buckets, their opinion, or their perspective doesn't matter. They don't have anything invested in your business from their fighting position. Now, your wife, she's an investor. Wisconsin, 50-50 state. I don't know how y'all do it down south, but she's invested. And other people, you'll have friends. I'm not talking about people that invested their dollars, but who's invested their time?
Time, right? Energy.
I got a guy, Brad Herda. Brad Herda is a business acquaintance of mine. I've known him for 6 years now. Brad and I have never exchanged $1, and our goal is to never exchange $1. He's a business coach. I'm a business owner. I have sent him referrals, introductions, leads. He has sent me leads, introductions, referrals. And we've also invested time into each other's businesses.
Yeah.
When he tells me something, it matters. When I have a question and I need an outside person's perspective, I'll call him. I called him a couple months ago. I said, hey, Brad, there's an association I'm part of. Hey, Brad, I'm struggling. Should I keep up my membership? And he said, hey, Andy, you need to show the fuck up. Yeah. You can't just passively kind of show up. If you're going to travel, you got to send somebody else. And I needed to hear that. I was like, you know what? You're right. I kind of been mailing it in. I haven't made it a priority. So I'm not getting out, right? You reap what you sow. I have not been sowing the relationships. So come harvest, there ain't much there. And there's no one to be held accountable but me.
And this is where.
Right? So his perspective matters because I invested in him.
Yeah.
So as you go down this journey, you, just like everybody else that takes the entrepreneurial leap, you're going to have naysayers and their friends and family and relatives and neighbors.
The ones you never thought were going to be the naysayers.
And you know what you say to them? Hey, either invest in me and my family and my business or
don't even say anything.
I ain't got time for your shit.
Just watch. You know?
Walk away. You're right. Even better. Shut the fuck up.
Move out. I'm going to tell you right now.
You don't show up.
Yeah, and that's the thing is pride, especially as military guys, pride is huge. But I'm going to tell you right now, the one biggest thing that I think Andy and I are brought together on was that we can hit each other's pride when we need to and where we need to. He got into a really bad deal that I personally didn't, and I was like, Andy, I don't think you should do it. Here's why. And he was like, you know what? I appreciate it, but I'm good. And then later on, he was like, hey, dude, like, you were fucking right. Fuck that. And it is what it is. We've all been there. Like, we've all been there, you know?
Yeah. Casey, blood check, and you were like, somebody told me.
Hey, Casey and I worked together on a job site on my job for a Fortune 100 company, and Casey kicked me off my own job site.
I remember and that. I'm like, yes, he was like, you got to go.
You got to go. I was like, you know what? You're right. Yeah. And there wasn't but a week or two before that and a week or two after that when I told Casey he had to stop being a bitch. Yeah. Because he was complaining about the same stuff every week. He was like, oh, and now this, and now this, and now this. Mm-hmm. I'm like, Casey, I was like, are you good? Because I'm fucking sick of hearing it, right? He's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. And I'm like, okay. Like, we got hired to solve these problems.
And it goes back to the strengths and weaknesses too. You know, when I kicked Andy out, it's because like, dude, you're sucking because you're not doing what you're good at. Like, you need to go out and do what you're good at.
Sit in front of a computer, look at Excel spreadsheets, solve for. I'm a standard fucking officer when it comes to junk removal, right? I got my operations order. I put my battle plan together. I put people in place. I say, hey, go out and do the thing, right? And as soon as I was like, start worrying about the how and getting invested in the how, it goes to shit,
dude.
Right? And Casey in that project, and also even with his junk removal company, he's a standard NCO. You tell me what to do, let me figure out how to do it.
Yeah, we're gonna get done.
And that's why we work together. Now, when he has to be the what guy, it doesn't matter, right? Or it doesn't work as well as much as when I got to be the how guy. So know your strengths, check yourself at the door, and again, 6 years of us bullshitting, we started in a place of misunderstanding.
Yeah.
There was actually a person within our franchise that specifically asked me to go basically straighten Casey up because he was going wayward. And I was like, yeah, fuck that guy. He didn't know shit, right? So I call him and I was like, yeah, you're wrong on this, this, and this, right? And of course he's like, no, I'm not. And over time, it wasn't that he was wrong. It's just my fighting position was different. And a few things he's like, hey, yeah, you know what? I wasn't right on this, right? Like he was like, everyone should have this exact same setup as me. And he's like, oh wait, y'all got snow? I guess that's different, right?
We got snow.
Like, right? So he
wasn't
wasn't wrong, but he wasn't right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we came from a place of now understanding, and things got things got better. And even with you and your business, you got to go out and understand what your customers need.
Yeah.
You got to understand what your community needs, and then you got to start servicing their needs. Because if you try to beat down what you have and convince them that what you have is what they need,
it ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work.
I would even invite calling another junk removal company that's well established in another area, obviously. But just talk to them and say, hey, man, look, we're around the same place, you know. You got any tips? Like, if you were to do this all over again, what
you're
would
talking about.
Oh, wait, I think
you're talking about
Tracy.
Yeah, you said you're going to try to get together with Tracy.
Yeah, him getting together in September. But there's also a guy in the area called Junk Busters, like Who You Gonna Call, and he's in Augusta.
I kind of like that.
It's good. Look him up. It's good. He does like the roll-offs, like y'all talked about. It's a mix of roll-offs and the other. Yeah. But I basically told him, hey, if I get an Augusta call, I'll give it to you. Yeah. And he said, if I get the areas that you're in, I'll give it to you. And I can talk to that guy anytime I want. I can just hit him up.
Yeah.
He's really cool.
So, okay, I see quite a few junk busters. One's veteran-owned down in Jacksonville, North Carolina. One's up in Seattle, Washington. So my first company name, that's why I love this. My first company name was the Clutter Busters, right? And that was I love it. My first company name was the Clutter Busters.
Oh my gosh.
And what I love about this is because I don't do a whole lot of research for this podcast. Like, I don't go out of my way for research on the podcast. I'm just consistently researching this industry, and I see junk removal companies out there. And there's some names I absolutely hate. I'm like, that's stupid, right? And there's other ones where I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So hold on. I'm looking at this. I'm gonna share the screen. There are no less than 10 junk buster businesses out there, like different logos and everything.
I was hoping mine would be good because it was just somebody said, "Hey, when you find the one that's you're just gonna like it," and it's stuck.
Oh my god, who are you gonna call? I like this guy. Dude, this guy, Billy Badass. Hey, he looks like that one guy. Who was that guy?
Cool. The brownie guy.
Who was that guy? The veteran that had the fucking pointed beard, and then ended up being a total fraud. He was like all over Instagram.
Oh yeah, that dude.
What the fuck was that guy's name?
Dan Bilzerian.
That sounds right. All
that
right.
name sounds familiar.
Well, he got real famous with poker, and they claimed he was like this special forces guy. When in actuality, he failed training and never went to did anything. And he beat a couple of girls up.
Yeah. All right. I kind of like this. Okay, so this one is the same as this. Got it. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'll be honest. I mean, that's a creepy looking logo. But that's fine. I love looking at other junk removal companies because I love this industry. I really like it. Then you got these guys.
I love it.
The creativity.
Get in there and bang out a job, go do the next one. You never know what you're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I want to see what this guarantee is. I got to look at this. He's got a guarantee on here.
I wonder about that too, like branding and things like that. But
satisfaction guaranteed, or twice your junk back. That might be the best thing ever.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Like, I'll back in the yard.
I'm not gonna lie. I twice your junk back.
Golly.
You know what?
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
You know what? Here we go. All right, here. So I'm gonna scrub this. This guy's doing quotes. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
The only thing is I don't see. All right, actually, here, his last post he hasn't posted since 2015. It's a good ass. All right, sorry. January of 17 was the last time he posted. All right, so he may or may not be in business. Either way, junk busters. If you're out there, you win the tagline of the day. There's no monetary award for this. Actually, I'm gonna go back to yours real quick because there's something else I saw on your Facebook page, and of course I don't have it up. That drove me nuts. Two things. Where you're talking about the phone number. Second thing. Get yourself an adult email address.
Yes. Gosh,
right? Because this is the problem. You have a website. You got the hard part figured out, right? You got the website. So get yourself a info at, or
sales
something
at service at
sales at. This is why when me, a buyer, when I see someone only use their something at Gmail, that tells me their level of commitment is not $12 a month.
Yes,
because that's the cost of a email address, $12 a month. So if you're not willing to invest $12 a month, that tells me something about your business and how much you respect or trust your business in your future. And that again, what I love about this podcast, and I really do appreciate you here as a guest, is we're going to beat you up because it's going to make you better. And just like you've watched and listened to most, if not all, of our episodes, someone else right now is going to hear that, heed the warning, adjust the way they do business because they heard it here. And it's not a knock on, like, this isn't like a you suck. Like, these are all things that we've learned.
I can't take this. I'm not going to grow. I have to be able to grow through this.
And, right, in the bucket of 4 people that matter, Casey and I matter because we're investing our time in you, right? We were texting a little bit. Now we have you on our podcast. We're investing our time in you. We're going to put our dollars and resources behind you so you have some content to promote yourself as an expert in your field, right? So, that's the difference between that blind opinion versus perspective of someone that matters.
Absolutely.
Because our goal, why we do this, I don't want to see someone that comes on this podcast say they lost money, say they invested in a franchise and lost their ass, lose their house, go through a divorce, close their business when they didn't want to. And I've seen it all. When we were part of the franchise system, this is our why. When we were part of the franchise system, we saw people lose their house, lose their significant others, go into depression in situations, lose their health, go bankrupt. Several people because they blindly trusted a franchise model that only gave a shit about getting their royalty check every month.
Yeah.
And they did it only to get paid. Casey and I spend time, effort, and money every week to sit down and have conversations with people on this hustle because we give a shit. And we want you to be successful. We want you to build the life that you are capable of. We want to give you some knowledge along the way. And when you're successful, all we ask is that you pay it forward to others so that you don't have to learn those tough lessons, right? I've had 6-figure losses because I've trusted the wrong people. I had to sit through a 2-year non-compete because I didn't listen to my lawyer and my gut and my instinct and other people that told me not to do what I went off and did, right? And now it's our opportunity to give back so that you can build the life you want, so you don't go bankrupt, you don't get divorced, you don't lose your house, you don't hate a company that overpromised and underproduced. That's why we do what we do. That's why what we do matters, and that's why what you do matters. To take the information, take what we can give you, right? If you use 85% of this, that's a fucking victory.
Not even that.
Hell, if you use 1% of it, it's a victory,
I used to say this whenever I go any kind of meeting, networking event, whatever. I'd always say if I learned one thing, if I got one takeaway, that was worth it for me. And
100%.
Like Andy said, we're doing this because we actually do give a shit. I know I don't care if it sounds weird or not, but we give a shit because we've been through the wrenches and stuff, the trenches. And this also is to say, if you are currently in a franchise, we're not saying you suck and you're going to fail. No. Guess what? I was in a franchise and I actually sold it, made it profitable, paid off all the debt, and then sold it for a profit. So we're trying to tell you, in junk removal, we want you to be successful. Through our experience, we're going to help as much as we can. And for guys like you, Pat, the fact that you're even giving us your time, it shows us you're investing in your own future as well. Because, Andy, what are the two biggest investments?
Time and effort.
Yeah.
You can always make more money.
There you go. That's the thing. And a lot of people don't want to give their time.
To be able to pay it forward, like you guys said, being able to see somebody, help somebody lift them up and they'll watch them grow, there ain't enough money in the world to give you that kind of fulfillment. There's nothing.
No. All right, well, now that we got all the fields out of the way, we didn't talk a lot of shit today, but we got in the fields, and you know what? Sometimes these episodes go the way they were destined to go. My grandma always said things work out the way they're supposed to. Casey's out in his truck. I'm not sure what's going on with him.
He's looking at drones. They're coming to get him.
Yeah. There we go. Jesus. All right. He's got to get to his wife. I got to get on with my life. Everybody else, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for watching. I will say we're episode 21. This episode 21, our listenership has jumped up significantly the last few weeks. We were averaging about 100 to 150 downloads a week. Now we are averaging over 400 downloads a week. I cannot thank all of our listeners for investing in us. Pat being one of our big listeners. You've watched or listened to most of our episodes. You chose to invest the last hour of your life with us. Continue to invest in yourself and your family and your business, and you will get to a place where you're going to live the life that you want to live.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. That's why we do it. For everybody else out there, hit us up. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Tell us you want to be on the program. We'd love to have you on there. We want to hear what we can do to support you in this amazing industry that's forever growing. As always, leave a review. Taylor said leave a review. Taylor, where can we leave reviews?
Facebook,
can we leave,
Google, YouTube.
Man,
leave a review. Facebook, Google.
Everywhere.
There we go. Put this on blast. Share with your friends, family, neighbors, relatives, and other people in the amazing and junk removal industry. As always, I'm Andy Weins. He's Casey Bubba Lawrence. Thank you all for listening.